Watch who?
Hello.
And welcome to Watch Who, a Doctor Who podcast. I'm Mark.
I'm Sarah.
And I'm a Doctor Who fan.
And I'm new to watching Who.
Watching for the very first time.
Very first time.
Sarah, you are live on channel 44,000. Please do not swear.
What the... Brilliant. Do you know what? As soon as I saw the premise, as soon as I saw it, I was like, Mark must have loved this.
Oh, the Big Brother and the game show.
Yeah, and then it's like Big Brother. What was it? It was Trinny and Susannah.
Trinny and Susannah, Weakest Link, yeah.
And Weakest Link. But like the Big Brother bit and Trinny, I was like, Mark must have loved this.
Well, I mean, it's a great idea.
It's such a great idea. Like, let's put the Doctor in the Doctor Who house. Is such a great. It's such a
the Big Brother house.
Well,
Big Brother house.
That's what I said. Big Brother house.
You said Doctor Who house.
No, I didn't. I said let's put the Doctor in the Big Brother house. No.
Oh, you said put the Doctor in the Doctor Who house, but no, I know what you mean. It's just funny.
You're gonna have to listen back to that and see what I said. I swear I said Doctor in the Big Brother house.
Anyway, yeah, it's Bad Wolf for the Parting of Ways this week, everybody. Yeah. Two-parter finale of the series.
Yeah. I feel this is the finale. You know how last week we were talking about if the next episode is part of this, like where it sits for the Doskers? I think the Doskers is now.
Yes, well, we asked our patrons to vote, and that's what the vote came out as.
Having watched it, I don't feel I could just do a one-off Christmas episode and then do a Doskers.
No, it doesn't really fit. It's a weird one, these Christmas ones. We'll have to see how they sit as we go along. But yeah, I think it makes sense that this is the end. This is it. So did you realise this was the end?
Sort of, I guess. Like, it was a two-parter, and then once it starts, I sort of felt like it's a pretty big story, so we're probably at the end of the season.
Yeah, because obviously when it was on at the time, it would have been publicised that it was happening. But before we get into Bad Wolf and the Parting of the Ways, I'll talk further in our Patreon episode about this, but I did go to the DWAS Companions of the 60s, Women of the 60s event to see Annika Wills, Wendy Padbury, Maureen O'Brien, Carol Ann Ford, amongst others. And listeners previously would know that sometimes the organisation can be a little bit haphazard at these things. And we have essentially we've complained about it.
Don't throw me in this, Mark. I have not been to this event. Sorry. There is no we. You have, Mark.
Okay, if you had gone, you would have also complained about it.
Absolutely, but I've not. It's you, okay? Don't throw me under a bus. I've not been. Thank you very much.
Okay, you can agree that the photos come out terribly.
Oh, Mark, I agree with everything you're saying. Absolutely. But I've not experienced it to say otherwise.
Well, I went to this event again, expecting the usual, and it pretty much was. I have to say, though, they are great events, and it's great to get these actors there and, you know, everyone watching. It's really great that they're on like a Sunday afternoon. It's that kind of time when you want to watch a black and white Doctor Who episode, you know, especially if the weather's not great outside, especially, you know, on the big screen. It's quite a nice experience to watch these episodes.
If that floats your boat, then sure.
Like last time, I was complaining that they had the photos and all the autographs and everything in the foyer. So much to my surprise, when I got there, they had moved all the autographs to a room upstairs to make space for downstairs. So I was like, oh my God, they've listened. Someone has had an idea, or they've decided to hire out another room. So that was pretty good. Well, the photo. I'll put the photo up. I have put the photo up. So bizarre. I think the issue is the red background in this foyer that they use. It's the red, I think, is part of the issue, and that plant is still there. When I was queuing up, the queue was chaos again. Everybody came down halfway through. We were all just standing around. I was like, are you in the queue for this? Are you in the queue for this? What are we queuing for? No one's saying anything. And the guy in front was like, don't worry, it's always like this. It's always chaos. So it's not just me saying that. I'm glad. And then there was like the big group shot. So we've got our 4 stars on the sofa sitting next to each other because they're old and they don't want to be standing up for a long time. Older. And then you stood behind the sofa with some of the other extra people as well. We had like a Thal and the lady from the Dominators and stuff. But I just wanted the main 4. So once they cleared off, you just had the 4 on the sofa, and then there's this big space. So you're either standing up, some people stood up behind the sofa, so it looks like you're sort of creeping up on them, behind them,
Yeah.
And some people knelt down completely, so there's just this head popping up behind them, which also looks a bit weird. I went for the middle section where I was sort of bent over and kneeling at an awkward angle.
Mark, why didn't you just put your entire body up? You should have just done like the spread, legs on the sofa, spread up there with the arms.
I know, and they didn't say what I don't think they even knew I was there. Like, it's not like you're capturing a moment, meeting a wonderful moment, talking to them, everything. They were just sitting there, oblivious to everything, and people were just walking behind and just having a photo taken. They did not know what was going on. I would say bring your own background to put up. I think there's a reason why, in school photos and stuff, it's blue, light blue.
It's a bit softer.
There's a reason why you don't have a red background, I think, in photo shoots. But we haven't yet to learn that lesson, I think. But, overall, it was a great time. There's some great chats and stuff. And obviously, I'm going to talk about that a bit more in the Patreon stuff. I did think of you, though, and absolutely laugh at what your reaction would be when so the first talk, wonderful, it was Carol Ann Ford, Susan, Vicky, and the lady who played the Thal. So they came down first. Carol Ann Ford, she's got a walking set. She's 80 something, and she managed to go down those stairs. The issue with the stairs before everybody. A lot of them had help up and down the stairs. Okay, so it's, again, a little bit slow. Don't know why Caroline Ford was at the back. She could have come down, sat at the front. Maureen O'Brien, Vicky, was at the front and watched the episodes, and I was sat directly behind her.
Aww.
So it was great to see her reaction. She had like, she was eating something, watching the episodes, having a great time. I think Carol was at the back. So obviously it's please welcome Caroline Ford, and big pause while it's, very slow. I don't know. There can't be any sort of access to the stage, like disabled access or lift access.
Maybe she'd come late.
No, she was sitting up there. Anyway, that was great. And then the second talk was a lady from the Dominators, Zoe, and Annika Wills, of course, was there, Polly. So I was really looking forward to like seeing her talk and everything. So I'm there at the front, and they're like, "Please welcome Zoe." Wendy Padbury comes down, the lady from the Dominators, and then they're like, "Oh, and then Annika Wills, she's gonna stay at the back of the cinema and just talk from there because she. Okay, fair enough. She had this fall, and she probably didn't want to do any stairs at all." But, bear in mind, everybody else managed it with help and everything. So she stayed at the back and I don't want to say refused, but did not have any interest in going down. So this weird thing where the interviewer's at the front with these microphones and you're looking at the front of the stage. And then when he's talking to Annika, he has to sort of shout up to the top. And she's got a mic, so this voice out of nowhere is sort of talking as well. So it's this weird conversation sort of at the back of the front of the cinema. And I was like...
I swear, part of me is like, she's done that so she's the centre of attention as well.
As soon as he said Annika Wills isn't coming down to the front, I thought of you and be like, bitch, she cannot. Of course she's got to do that.
I swear. Like, yes, don't get me wrong. She probably has... Yes, she's had a fall. But like you say, like... If she'd arrived there in good time, they could have made accommodations, things could have been made. Also, why are you, why if you've had a fall, why are you accepting work where, you're going to be walking and moving around a lot? Or why have you just said, do you know what, I can't do the talk, I don't feel comfortable with that bit, I'll do the photo bit where I'm just sat down.
Yeah, it was just funny.
I don't, like, do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, maybe that's just me.
Anyway, there we go. All I can say is the same stuff again, but it's getting there. It's still a fun, and nobody really notices. I'm just being hypercritical, I know, but it just annoys me.
YouTube working in events, Mark.
It's just you get there and you pay that money.
You can't ever relax in an event.
We should get on. We've got 2 episodes to
talk
talk about.
We've got 2 episodes to talk about. 2 big episodes.
Big episodes. So Bad Wolf. We had a recap, didn't we, about the long
Did.
game? We saw Satellite 5, Suki again, our favourite, or your favourite. So it's all tying together. This whole series has quite a good thread all the way through it. It's 100 years later, and yet the Doctor is in the Big Brother house.
Excellent. They're just there. Like, it's a great opener. It just opens. I mean, we know that. Like, you look at it and you're like, that's the Big Brother house.
It's funny how it's one of those shows that will probably go on until that time. It's always going to come back, and it has recently.
Yeah, it's back on ITV now, isn't it?
And it never changes that much. It's a bit like Doctor Who. You've always got to have the Doctor, the TARDIS, and the Daleks. Big Brother, you've always got the eye logo. You've always got the theme tune. That's what sells it. I love that theme tune. I bought the CD single of that when it first came out. I've got that. Oh my God, it's amazing. It is timeless. That's like the Doctor Who theme, the Big Brother theme.
It's timeless.
And the Doctor Who theme. It hardly ever changes.
It's the Doctor in the diary room for me when he sat in that chair. That was the image for me, the Doctor in the diary room.
And I think that chair and that eye logo would have been from the current whatever Channel 4 series was on at that time.
Yeah. And you know what? Because the chair always looks weird. That's kind of the thing with the diary room. The diary room always looks really weird, but the chair always looks weird. And it doesn't matter what the chair is. Like, I'm like, he's in the diary room in a weird chair. Like, it's brilliant.
And you've got like the sort of artwork on the walls and where they're wearing their microphones and stuff, what they used to do and everything. It's just so, you just know what it is, don't you? It doesn't date at all. And then we see Rose at the weakest link. Again, another classic. You know, when you see that show, you know what it is.
Android even. I'm calling her Ambot, but Android is brilliant.
The Android.
Welcome to the weakest link.
The hair, iconic. Iconic. That is like, what is it? Outfit of just the hair.
I don't know if that can go in close watch. It's a robot.
I don't know. I think she's iconic. She is the moment, as you would say.
Voiced by real Anne Robinson as well.
Of course she is. They're all voiced by them. Even Davina's on this, Mark. Even Davina.
Yeah, Davina's first appearance in Doctor Who.
Yeah, exactly.
At the time, I remember that being a really big thing that they were voicing. It was a real Davina doing that, even if it's just a voice. Like, I remember being really excited that these real current celebrities were like endorsing Doctor Who in a way and being and the android and the Trinny and Susannah and everything, that was always at the Doctor Who exhibition. You know, it was in the Red Dragon Centre, the little one. Before the experience, it used to be in the Red Dragon Centre, like a little local one.
Oh, right, okay.
And it was when sort of the first few series were on, so it was all that stuff. You know, I remember just seeing
it in the Red Dragon Centre,
where you got the cinema. It's sort of next to the cinema, in between the radio station and the cinema. I don't know what it's like now.
Now Five Guys.
Maybe. It went a long time ago. Always seeing the android and Trinny and Susannah. I've got so many photos with them. I'll put some of those up.
Oh, please do.
Yeah, and then, okay, not dated so well in lots of many ways is Jack and Trinny and Susannah.
That's a good lantern jaw. Lantern jaws are so last year.
Sorry, but nice to meet you, ladies, but where exactly am I?
We're giving you a brand new image.
Oh, hold on, I was with the doctor. Why, is there something wrong with what I'm wearing?
Maybe not as timeless. I mean, obviously at the time, they were quite big names. I don't think they're around anymore. They're doing other things as well. But you know who they are. It's that kind of show is still going. I
thought it was. Do you remember? Initially, it took me a while to click it was Trinny and Susannah. I was trying to work out who it was. Do you remember there was a show and it was on BBC Three and it was a robot? You know which one I'm saying, but what was it called?
It was like a makeover.
Yeah.
Because it was called the robot was called Pod, and they go in, it'll be like a white thing, and they talk to Pod, which was like a CGI eye or something, maybe something like that.
Yeah, it was terrible. They said horrible things to them. They're like, now we're going to show the public what they think of you, and the public were like, oh, disgusting, won't touch them. Like, it was horrible.
I can't remember what it was called. It was
Now, we all know we're not supposed to talk to strangers, but Pod is the exception to this rule. She'll talk to anyone. Quite frankly, the stranger the better.
Emily, are you ready to hear Pod's verdict?
Yeah.
Pod's verdict is that with your lack of clothing, lack of inhibitions and lacquered-on tan, your look is barely tasteful. It's time for my totally tarty to posh totty make-under.
No, it was narrated by Jenny Frost from Atomic Kitten, I think.
Yeah, thinking about it now, and then they put them in the most boring neutral clothes ever, and they'd be like, yeah, great improvement.
No, yeah, they'd be like a goth or something, like in like loads of makeup and like colourful hair and stuff, and then they'd be like, and the Pod would be like, "Ooh, you're scaring everybody. Let's do this."
And they'd be like, "Here's what the public thinks," and it'd be like, "Wouldn't touch that."
Yeah,
and
then they do this makeover, and it's like this girl, and they'd be like straighten her hair and just do normal colour and like, no makeup and stuff. I just remember it was Pod something. It's not 10 Years Younger. It's sort of that type of thing.
Yeah. Oh god, TV was terrible. But I thought it was that to begin with. Like,
I mean, it could have been. Yeah, it's that kind of thing. But Trinny and Susannah, all I know, I mean, this. Oh, when would it have been? A few years before this. I remember I was at school, and on Nescafe coffee jars, you could save up a load of tokens and send away for a Trinny and Susannah VHS, which I did, right. And I've still got it somewhere.
Of course you do.
And it was Start the Day with Great Taste with Nescafe coffee, Trinny and Susannah. And I remember getting it, coming home from school, and it came in the post. So I was like, it's my free Trinny and Susannah VHS. and I put it in, and it was just them like being like, so you're in the office all day, but you're going out with drinks from the girls afterwards. Put a sparkly belt in your bag, and you can like zhuzh out for your work outfit. It was just stuff like that.
Oh my gosh. I need to see some. You need to find that. Dig it out. I want some clips of that.
I will digitise it. I've got it somewhere. Yeah, I've always kept that. It was great.
Oh, that is hilarious.
Susannah, step away from that outfit and put the kettle on.
Nothing sets you up for the day like the full flavour of Nescafe Original.
So that's what I know about them, and obviously Jack is there, and they're doing makeovers and stuff with him. So yeah, I mean, great of the time. It's just, this is what Russell T Davies does great in modern Doctor Who. He has those connections to current times and everything.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have anything like this in the classic series. It just wouldn't. Or
no,
it just wouldn't happen, would it?
But also, I don't know. Even 20 years later, we have still know exactly what, like, we're still like, all right, that was Trinny and Susannah. That is Big Brother. That is The Weakest Link. Like, it's 20 years on, and we're still like, we know exactly what that is. There's still big moments of their time. There's still big shows of their time. For right or wrong, they are still big. We could pinpoint them and be like, it's
that pop culture stuff that's just really just going to always stay.
Absolutely, of its time completely, but it doesn't matter that it dates it in some way.
No. As I say, it's only really Trinny and Susannah, but even makeover shows are still around. So that, yeah, it's a great
even we
stuff.
could think. I mean, who hosts it now? I can't remember.
The guy. It's not Romesh, is it?
Yeah, I think it is.
I've not watched it for ages. I've not watched it since Anne Robinson done it.
No.
There was an actual. It might have been for charity. A Doctor Who one a few years later with David Tennant and all.
Was there?
Yeah, all sort of various different characters. Did a real life one with Anne Robinson, which was fun. Anyway, so that is happening, and that's Satellite 5. So Satellite 5 is all different game shows and stuff. And then so that we follow the Doctor. Let's talk about the Doctor in the Big Brother house then. And he meets Lynda with a Y.
I'm just a traveller wandering past. Believe it or not, all I'm after is a quiet life.
So, if we get out of here, what are you going to do? Just wander off again?
Fast as I can.
'Cause, I could come with you.
Maybe you could.
I wouldn't get in the way.
I wouldn't mind if you did. Not a bad idea, Lynda with a Y.
Who do you recognise her, the actress?
Yeah, I think of her from EastEnders.
Yeah, she's from EastEnders, but for some reason she looks really small here. In EastEnders, I feel like she's like twice the height. I don't know what it is.
Is that because Chris Eccleston's quite tall, though?
I don't know. I was so.
Mr. Eccleston.
He was taller than me, I think, in that photo with him.
And you're tall, Mark.
Yeah, I think he was taller than me.
I just think he's really tall.
It feels like she's a child in this, and EastEnders she's like a full-grown adult. It's really, maybe it's the hair as well. She's done quite. It's like younger. Is she the one who said the wrong thing on the live EastEnders?
Oh, I
Do
don't
you remember
know.
that? Is that her that said instead of how's Ian, she said how's Adam? She called him by the actor's name.
I couldn't miss your big day, could I? Even if it does mean bumping into the bold ginger one. How's Adam?
It was like an out-of-body experience. I literally went, how's Adam? Came out of my own head and went, well, there's no getting out of that. You can't even talk your way around that. That's not a fluff. You've just said Adam. Came back in my head and thought, just let's get to the next scene. Came off and had a full-blown panic attack.
It's always on like coming up on Twitter and stuff.
Married to Ian? Who's she married to in EastEnders? Or was married?
I mean, she. But this is
Anyway.
obviously before EastEnders days. Joe Joyner. She's really great. She's our little sort of character of the week who follows the Doctor and is she's really nice. We'll just talk about her dying now because let's just go all over the place because she has that through light and then she's following the Doctor and a hero moment because she decides to stay. And I mean, she's explaining as well that you're just chosen, like you're not chosen to go in. You are chosen to go into Big Brother. Like you don't have a choice. You have to go there. So there's all that mystery. But then also later on as well, there's that slight moment where there's a few looks from Rose, gets a bit jealous. But when she's saying, I think the moment she says, oh, maybe I could come with you. And he says, yeah, you're like, she's going to die. Like you sort of know that that's going to happen. You know that she's not going to be going with them at the end.
This is a weird. It's funny going into this because you kind of feel like there's a lot of people that are going to die. Like there's a lot of goodbyes. You kind of sense this is the last sort of episode. Like Jack has his goodbye. There's a lot of goodbyes going into it. You sort of sense it's done really well. There's a lot of good pace in this story. I think because the Doctor sends Rose off quite early into the story as well.
Well, they're separate for most of part one because she's in the weakest link for nearly all of part one.
Yeah. And then she dies. They get her back.
Yeah, they get her back and then he sends her away towards the
but when but he doesn't send her away, it's quite early on in part two, really.
Yeah, well, fairly, yeah.
I'd say in the first 20 minutes.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
He keeps her behind and then he says that's a great idea, gets her in, and then it's not like towards the end. It's pretty because she's got she's back home, she has a whole thing. It takes her a while to even get back,
But no, it just has that feeling of more of an epic than we've had before. But I think in this new series, what we've found so far is the two-parters actually work much better because that whole part one is mainly just the game shows and the mystery. There's time to breathe and have those fun moments. And Rose doing the actual weakest link, the sort of head-to-head with all the questions.
Oh, yeah.
It's great. And the face of Bo was an answer and she got it right.
It was a great throwback. There's that first episode, there's great tension, them trying to get to her, them figuring it all out. Let's just break that first story. They're all split up. They're all trying to work out what's going on. You're trying to work out what's going on. And then right at the end, you get the Daleks. And you haven't seen them, and it's a complete surprise. And it's a great twist. We've been told they're dead. We've just had that one thing with the Daleks. And then right at the end, you get that. And it's great. Rose is dead. Is she dead? I can't remember at what point they realise.
Well, she gets zapped. She gets zapped towards the end after the weakest link stuff. And then they get Doctor and Jack and Lynda get arrested and they're in prison for a bit.
I'm trying to remember when they realise it's smart.
Because Jack works it out and he does it with Lynda and says, by the way, I think that's in part two. Because Rose wakes up after the zap with the Daleks. But no, it's a long time. The Doctor, his anger, he changes. When he thinks Rose is dead, he's like, right, I am going to cause vengeance now on whatever has done this. And he's really upset. That's the turning point for him. But when we're going all over the place here, aren't we? But they go. No,
I'm just trying to remember because I did watch them completely separately as well for this reason, and now I can't.
Because the cliffhanger is the Doctor being like, Rose, I'm coming to get you.
Yes. So they must have worked out it's a transmat towards the end of that first episode.
Because Jack and the Doctor are all in the control a bit, aren't they?
Yes, right. And then they see it, and yes, you're right. Yeah. And he has a conversation with the Daleks, and he's like, "I'm going to come and get you." You're right. Yeah. I watched it completely separate so I wouldn't confuse anything, and I've completely confused it in my head.
I had a break as well. It's been so long since I've watched it. I've really enjoyed it. Having the 2 parts as well, you do get these extra... Lynda gets a lot of time. There is a new couple of the series. I don't know. I think they're just called... what are they called? Like backstage crew, female and male. The two that are like, they're fighting the Daleks and like, come and have a drink. I mean, they both die. I mean, it's pretty brutal, but could have been a couple. And there's also, just to highlight some side characters, the floor manager lady in The Weakest Link. She's the one that first volunteers to have the gun. And she's like, bullets don't work against the Daleks. She's great. And I looked up her because I was like, I wonder if she's been in anything else. She has done a lot of
Casualty, isn't she?
Well,
she's been in loads.
She's done a lot of theatre. She's been in Les Mis, but she sings the Red Dwarf theme tune.
Oh,
that lady.
Oh, really?
Oh no, I'm thinking. Are you thinking of the other lady? You're thinking.
I'm thinking of the other lady.
No. There's she's sort of got blondish hair. And she's only in it. She volunteers when Jack says anyone.
Yeah.
And then she's got.
She sings the Red Dwarf theme tune, does she?
She sings the Red Dwarf theme tune. Yeah.
I'm thinking of the two that are
the couple. Yeah. No, that other lady. She's been in a lot of stuff. Yeah, Casualty and things.
That's why Casualty's one of them.
Yeah. And the guy up against Rose in Weakest Link, Roderick, who's like, I want my money and stuff. He's that's Patterson Joseph. And I don't know where we were in his career then, but he's recently been in the Wonka film. He's been in Casualty a long time as well. He's done a lot of stuff, but I'm not sure if he was that well known at this time. Maybe he's just come out of Casualty and they've got him for Doctor Who, but then he's gone on to... He's like movies now.
Casualty, I'm guessing at this point, was in Bristol. It's not in Cardiff yet.
Oh, yes, Bristol, yes. Yeah, it wouldn't have moved in that time.
It wouldn't have made the move to Cardiff yet.
No, I don't think so. But no, Patterson Joseph, there's some really good... A bit like the classic where you sort of spot actors earlier in their career, just having those sort of bit parts. I mean, Patterson Joseph would be a main star now.
Yeah,
If he was in Doctor Who, he'd be a big, big name. Because he's great as the Weakest Link, but he literally turns up to play the Weakest Link and then gets killed.
Yeah.
So, easy job. The stuff with Jack, though, I didn't really like the stuff with Jack and Trinny and Susannah. And Jack just annoyed me in this. He's going around with the gun. I mean, I suppose he's the one with the gun because the Doctor shouldn't really be the one going around doing all of that stuff. A bit like before, what are your thoughts? You said, companions shouldn't really be having the guns and doing that, but that is his only job, really, is to go around.
I really liked Jack in this, actually.
I just got on my nerves.
I enjoyed Jack more in this than I did the last story, because last story he didn't do. This, I felt that he had purpose. I felt like he had his purpose to be here. It made sense. Like, he went off to help fight. He's a fighter. He's kind of like Ben was.
I knew you were going to say Ben. Yeah, but you didn't like Ben when he got the gun against the Cybermen. You said he shouldn't have done that.
I know, but he's that sort of character, isn't he? He's the one that's like, he's like the one that goes forward, rallies a team, and is like out on the floor, and the Doctor's doing things, like he's a frontal defense, I guess, while the Doctor's trying to do things and help. I mean, even when they get out, when the Doctor goes, let's do it, Doctor and him, they kick back the men and get them out of there, He's part of that. In this story, without the brains, he's the equivalent of the Doctor in a different realm.
Well, that's the difference between like Ben and Jack, is that this is Jack's time. He is from the future. He can help do the wiring.
He understands
and stuff.
the time travel, and he understands. So when he says things like, "What, you're going to do this?" He understands what he's trying to. He might not be able to but he has like the knowledge of like what he's trying to do, because he has like, the knowledge of being what from time travel. I'm just making words up here, but but I thought this was a really great Jack moment and story. This is what Jack's... And also, it's a full arc. He starts off as not a baddie, but a bit of a nobody, a bit of a con man. He even says it himself. He starts with a con man, and he turns into one of the fighters on the front line to save humanity. It's a full arc story for him. You couldn't have put anyone else in there with Trinny and Susannah.
No, not at all. No.
You couldn't have put Billy in there.
No.
Like, what would that have been? That would have been like some weird feminist. She'd have like kicked off and been like, I ain't changing my clothes. You couldn't have put the Doctor in there. It would have just been a bit awkward and weird. You know, Jack in the Big Brother house would have been a great time. He'd have been like, yeah, bring it. The Doctor in the Big Brother house is iconic. There is no one else you could have put in with Trinny and Susannah but Jack.
No, and you've got the humour with him, and then there's the sort of jokes that he keeps chatting everybody up that he speaks to as well.
And even the Doctor takes the mick of that. And he plays into it. So, and I think that's the thing. Because at this point, I think that character's so established amongst the group, even when the Doctor's like, we haven't got time for you to chat her up or something, because that is who he is.
I mean, while we're talking about Jack as well, Jack kisses Rose goodbye and the Doctor. This is our first on-screen gay kiss in Doctor Who.
Was this a moment?
I mean, it was sort of not in a romantic way or anything, but quite, you know, at the time, if you look at 2004 TV,
oh yeah,
or 5, it was a. I can't remember what
on family TV. We're talking here. We're not talking about like Friday night 11 p.m. TV. We're talking primetime family TV.
I mean, considering current Doctor Who has like a full-blown like love affair with a character, this was like I can't remember if there was any discussion on it. I think if but you didn't have the social media stuff around it, and you didn't have any, you know, people then started to say Russell Davies had a bit of an agenda going forward. It's not particularly relevant here, even if there was one. I think it gets more and more, but in terms of sort of testing the waters for the audience and the stuff of what he could probably put in, I suppose he should put that in there. Or John Barrowman just did it. I don't know. But
I think it works. I think it fits that character.
But it's
do that.
It's Captain Jack's character, 100%.
Absolutely. And I don't think anyone can deny otherwise.
Yeah, it's the character stuff. I'm not saying that it was just put in for the sake of it.
Like, it's not like it's thrown in. It's absolute. That character thinks he's going, this is it. I'm not going to see his people. He says it. There's a whole thing of like, this is probably it. We're going to die. That character does end up dying. Like, that does happen. He says his goodbyes and he gives them both. Of course he does. It fits the character completely. I don't think anyone could deny otherwise. And it's not like he kisses Rose, which he's done before. We've seen that. And then he sort of says his goodbye to the Doctor, and in that moment just gives him a snog. It's a very Jack thing to have done, I think. And we see that because we see that character doing it all the time. We've seen it for the last 3 episodes.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, it's definitely with his character. But talking about kissing as well, just skipping ahead, when Rose has the bad wolf stuff, and the Doctor has to kiss Rose to get the energy out, that's the excuse that there's a finale kiss. Which, let's count the finale kiss. There's always a kiss. Every new Doctor and Companion, there's an excuse for a kiss. Whether it's a kiss or a transfer of energy or something, they find a way for them to kiss. It just has to be done. And this is the excuse for them to kiss, because the characters would never actually kiss. But you know when the 8th Doctor kissed Grace in the TV movie? That was our first kiss. Our first Doctor Who kiss. I mean, we've only just had a Doctor kiss, let alone anything else recently. You know, I said my grandparents watched, and then my granddad was like, when the 8th Doctor kissed and he didn't watch the TV movie. Yeah. I remember my grandparents would watch the new Doctor Who, they were enjoying the new Doctor Who, and then apparently my gran said, she was like, and when the Doctor and was trying to save Rosie, and the Doctor and Rosie kissed, that's when my granddad got up and walked out again.
That's so funny. Rosie as well.
I'm just going back through my notes. We've gone everywhere here.
You've gone everywhere.
But the cliffhanger, Rose wakes up.
Well, hang on. I will say this. So he gets her into the TARDIS, sends her off.
This is part 2, yeah.
Yeah. I cried.
Doctor, what are you doing? Can I take my hand off? It's moving.
I remember being a bit emotional when I first watched it. It does. It's quite. It's her acting as well. It's so great. You feel
I think it's him as well. He says like, he says something like, I cried twice in this episode actually.
I mean, there's his speech. She has a good speech in the Chippy as well. Both of those moments.
So I cried when he sent her off in the TARDIS and says his goodbye, and he says something like, have a good life or live. I can't remember what he says.
Oh, that's the hologram bit, yeah.
Yeah. And he's having that speech, and he's not looking, because obviously he's not looking at her, because he's a hologram, but he's there.
Well, no, it's that moment. He does the whole speech, and you think it's like the hologram just there, and then he turns to look at her.
Yes.
Have a good life. Do that for me, Rose. Have a fantastic life.
So that made me cry. And the sort of feeling for her that she should just decide this box and just leave the box and let it. That was a great speech. That made me cry. And then the second one was just before he regenerated.
What he said, or?
Yeah, what he said. And they were both him. And I think just Christopher Eccleston in that last episode was just brilliant.
Yeah, you wouldn't even think that he had such a bad time that he wanted to leave, and everything.
Just fantastic in this last episode. Like, he's angry but he's funny still. I mean, it's just this perfect balance. Like there's that point when he's going like, he said some sort of line like, if you're and if you're a genius, which I am, like, something like that. He's in that way that only the Doctor would say it. These are the lines where only the Doctor can say. The Doctor is the cockiest arse in the world. I was thinking about this earlier. I was like, thinking of some of these lines. I was like, the Doctor is. These are just the cockiest lines in the world. This is why actors love playing the Doctor. You get to play these lines and you're like, and I am a genius and I am a brilliant person. These are what these lines are. And if you're an absolute brilliant person, like I am, then you will know. Like, the lines the Doctor says constantly and gets away from me like, oh yeah, he's so great. Anyone else, you'd be like, what a dick. Like, when he's having that dilemma with the Emperor Dalek of like, and with Jack there of like, I've got to decide whether I'm removing Daleks or humanity and stuff. He's so good in it. And yeah, when he's about to regenerate and he says like, to Rose, you were brilliant and so was I cried. He's fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't cry this time to that, but it's definitely an emotional moment. And I've definitely warmed to Christopher Eccleston as the Doctor as we've watched the series through. It is a shame he didn't do any more, because I feel like some episodes of the season he was just sort of finding his feet. I mean, it's a whole new series. I think
everyone probably was. I think they were trying to work out what is Doctor Who again in this new world a little bit as well.
And I think all of that finding out and with the actors and the production, everything, make these final two episodes. It feels like they've just absolutely got it right with everything, which makes it more of a shame that he's not doing any more. I really like Rose's speech in the Chippy because she gets left behind. He's like, it's happening out there, and her living a better life and wanting to do, that. I think she's absolutely brilliant with that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And we see Jackie and Mickey again. Our regulars come back. I mean,
but you know what? Every time Mickey's back, it just reminds me of what an absolute wet blanket he is.
Well, no, but it's slightly changed, because there's that moment where she's like, yeah, there's nothing here for me now, and he finally gets the message, but then he doesn't,
and he does try and help. That was my moment of like Mickey turning it round and being like, yeah, okay.
That is Mickey finally admitting that that he's not going to be sort of with Rose, but he wants her to go on and have that life with the Doctor, and he still cares about her. And
I don't even think it's about the Doctor. I think he just realizes And I think actually it's him putting that aside and being like, she just wants a different life. It's not even him. It's not about her life with the doctor. It's just what the doctor's taught her about other things.
And Jackie realises as well. And there's that moment where Rose tells Jackie that she met the dad, which I didn't realise she obviously hadn't told her or hasn't seen Jackie since then. So that, again, it all ties up. All this series has all been woven through to make that a really emotional moment. And the moment that Jackie's like, okay, I'm going to help, I'm going to help you and I understand. It's all woven through.
Yeah.
And we get the bad wolf explanation. And we've got a nice little reminder of everything. So we had Gwyneth in The Unquiet Dead first said it. Then we had the helicopter in Dalek, which you noticed. Out of all of the obscure ones, you noticed that one first. And then we had the Welsh Blythe, I'm not going to say it right, Blythe Drood or whatever, from last week. What else did we have? Oh, and the graffiti on the TARDIS as well, which you noticed. Then we've got the Bad Wolf Corporation, so it all links up, and it's Rose that is Bad Wolf and everything. I mean, it's just a really well done story arc, and I think it sets up how it's thought of doing story arcs for Doctor Who going forward. I think maybe, okay, we'll see how slightly out of control they finally get, but it was so subtle that you can watch all these episodes individually and it doesn't matter if you've got Bad Wolf or someone mentions it, but it's there if you want to link it up. I think that is how story arcs should be. Okay, you can make it a bit of more of a mystery if you want to, but this was just subtly done in the background, and the payoff is there for you in this episode if you have been an avid watcher and gone through. But it doesn't matter if you're just tuning in week to week. It still explains it all here anyway.
Yeah.
I think that's how you do it. Yeah, I just think it just works perfectly in this, and it gives you enough. You're not asking any more questions. It's all tied up really well. Because the Satellite 5, the Daleks were controlling the station before when we were there, behind everything. They've been there a long time.
They say that.
The Time War mystery stuff that the Doctor's had, he's had all this, that adds to his character as well, because we finally have that it was the Daleks in the Time War, and he thought they'd all just been destroyed by the Time Lords and everything. It's a couple of lines here and there, but it adds to all of that feeling that's going on. And then, I mean, as it goes on, and we see the threat of the Daleks, lots of Daleks this time. You see all the CGI, this is our first space battle in Doctor Who, or new Doctor Who. And obviously they want to make it big and make it look impressive. I don't like all the little Daleks flying through space. I think that looks a bit weird. I don't think Daleks should fly through space just on their own.
I don't know. I think that, no.
Well, why have they got spaceships if they can all just fly around in space anyway without spaceships? I just think it's weird. I mean, they're sort of setting off like, little, ammo thing, things going on. I don't know, just seeing them all, it just makes it look more CGI, just a random flying doll. I don't know. I don't like them. I don't like it like that.
Maybe now you've said why are they in spaceships? I guess because that's the way how you can transport lots of them.
Yeah, but they're all flying around in big rows. They're going, woo.
Yeah, I've never really thought about it before.
It looks impressive. It looks like there's a big army, like tanks coming out, that kind of thing. But I don't know, something about Daleks in space, I just don't like.
Daleks in space.
But it gives us that moment when Lynda does get shot, and it's the silent exterminate through the glass, because you think they're coming through classic style with a flamethrower really slow. You're like, here we go, we had this with the Third Doctor, way back, and then when they smash the glass, that's really sad. And pretty much all our side characters die, don't they?
Everyone dies. Everyone. It's when they go down the floors. Do you know what I mean? When, they all think they're going to come up and get us. That's why we're protecting the top. And they just come in and go down and kill everyone. Because that's what they do.
What do you think about Rose being Bad Wolf and sort of saving the day with it all? And was it like a satisfying conclusion to
I think it's something that makes sense for the character. Wouldn't have made sense for her to leave and to not do so. We talk a lot of, Rose is the character that finds the sacrifice, and she's had this journey. She's had the sort of the selfishness of the decisions with her dad and all that, and learning, and you know, that's kind of like she's been on this whole journey and learnt a lot and seen a lot, I guess, along the way. And so it kind of makes sense for her character to want to, at this point, save the Doctor and, you know, she, you know, get back. And of course, it doesn't fully explain Bad Wolf for me.
Well,
but...
so she opens up the console, and she looks into the TARDIS, and you're not supposed to do it. So she has all of time and space in her head, so she can see everything ever.
Yeah.
And she knows she wants to come back, destroy the Daleks, and save the Doctor, right? With the power. Bad Wolf is on the. It's like a sort of infinity loop thing. I think she sees the Bad Wolf thing, so she's like, I need to remind myself somehow that this is where it all happens. This is my warning. So I'm going to place back in time, in my timeline, these clues. So when I see Bad Wolf, I know that this is what I need to do. But she sort of doesn't know that. So it's like a loop where she sees the clues and she's like, oh, that's something weird there. And then she does that. And then that's.
I see.
Yeah?
Yeah. Fine.
I haven't explained it exactly right, but you know what I mean.
No, you've explained it more than like just she is Bad Wolf.
So yeah, so she creates Bad Wolf. It's her creating clues for herself.
Yeah.
That's what it is. I think that's a reasonable explanation for it.
No, I think you've explained that right.
Well, she brings Jack back to life. We see Jack die.
And then come back to life because he picks up that dust, but it's gone before we just see him left. And you sort of see the disappointment in him being left and then sort of like him being... Again, I think it's really great acting from his side. It's sort of the disappointment and then sort of like this is not like...
But to be fair, they don't know that he's back to life. They don't know what happened.
No, I think they don't know he's back to life, but I think she knew she brought him back to life. Because she says her line, doesn't she? Like, I can like bring back life, and then we see Jack come back to life.
But that's Rose's Bad Wolf, and then she wakes up. She doesn't remember any of it.
Yeah. So that's what I mean. I think in that she knows she's done it in that moment, but not as. I think it's great acting from Jack. You sort of see that disappointment of them leaving. I can't think how to explain it. There's sort of like it's disappointment that turns to like sort of okay, well then this is. Oh, I'm here. I can get on with this. I'm like a. I can't think of the word.
He's sort of resigned to his fate in the...
Yeah, but in like a positive way, like with a new face to it almost. Like maybe in a new sort of like, but in a new... I can't explain
Well, he's probably happy that he's back to life.
Yeah. It's sort of disappointment they've gone, but then sort of like, yeah, but I'm alive and I'm here. And I can deal with it. It's a really... From him, I think it's really strong. Because it's only brief. There's no lines. There's no dialogue. It's just but in that moment you see that character's whole inner monologue.
I don't know if that moment's been analysed so thoroughly ever. No, he just looks at the TARDIS.
I know that it goes on. I do know that we have Torchwood.
Okay.
I mean, because there's a bloody shrine down the road from me. Of course, I know there's Torchwood at some point. It's a freaking shrine about 5 minutes from my house.
Oh my God, I've just realised, location watch. I think 5 minutes from your house is the playground where Bad Wolf is written out. You know, where she's...
Oh yeah, probably. There's a load of works going on at the minute. And that playground you did say is used for stuff.
It's cool.
I know which playground.
Canal Park, Butetown.
Yeah, and you've told me before.
Canal Park, yeah. I don't know if that actual whole I think it might have been built over where it's written out on the ground, like the games court and stuff. I'm not sure. Maybe it's not near you, actually. But you'll see it in...
Don't make my exact location known too much.
No, I know. I know, that's what I'm saying. It's in a sort of area, but if you scroll down and you see where it says Tarmac Court, that's where the Bad Wolf stuff was. Do you recognise that?
Yeah, it's really low.
It is, isn't it? I thought so.
That is really close. That is insanely close. They're redoing all that area at the minute.
Yeah, I think they are. Yeah, so I don't think that...
We went for a walk. Do you remember when you were down and we went for that walk?
Yeah, I think that playground bit is being all dug up. I don't think that whole playground bit's
No,
there.
the playground bit's fine.
Sorry, not the playground. The flat bit. The flat bit where Bad Wolf is written out big. I don't think that is the
No, I
same
don't think
anymore.
that's there anymore.
No, that's not there.
The playground's fine, but everything around it. But because I'm sure I've said this story, but my mum rang me up once when I had that when I pulled a muscle, and my mum had to come down, and she rang me up and she was like, "I don't know where I am," and I was like, "Okay, well, you were just walking back," and she'd like made a wrong turn, and she was like, "I'm in a different world," and I was like, "I know where you are." You've just gone down the wrong street. And like, to be fair, it does seem like you're in a different world. Like, and it is only like, what, a 2-minute walk?
I thought that was near you. Well, we won't dox you by Doctor Who locations anymore. And then we get the Regeneration. And I was wondering, I bet there's a version of the script somewhere where he didn't leave, and I think it would have been exactly the same. He just wouldn't have. He would have absorbed the energy and then been like, Rose would have woken up probably, and they would have just gone on. Maybe, like they just sort of added in this regeneration bit, and I know that they obviously filmed that bit with David Tennant separately, and then I think Billy Piper would have done no reactions, and then David Tennant would have come in and done his bit on his own. So it's all a bit of a mismatch. And the regeneration, it's a bit different to what we've seen before. It's like the light out the head and the hands. It's a standing up regeneration. I don't think we've had a standing up regeneration before, which is very bizarre, I think. We sort of get standardized.
I like the power of it.
Yes, I think that comes across. It's like a big, powerful change. I like that. I quite like the classic ones where they're all completely different. You never know how it's going to go or what it's going to look like. I quite like that. It's a shame in the new series it's a bit more standardized. When you see it, it's pretty much the same every time. I think they could be a bit more creative with it sometimes. But yeah, it's a shame. Chris Eccleston is a great Doctor, and it is a big shame he's not come back on TV, I think, because I think he could have done easily a whole nother series, and Doctor Who could have still been a success. I mean, obviously, we're going into David Tennant now, and Doctor Who only goes up even more of a success. I mean, it's peak of successes with David Tennant, but I still think we could have reached that peak with Christopher Eccleston carrying on another series, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's all Billy Piper as well is part of all of that, and the writing and the storyline, everything is part of it. Chris Eccleston would have only just got more and more comfortable with it, I think. But sadly, it was not to be. So, we've done a whole nother Doctor. Are you excited for what's going to happen next? Or where, so we left, obviously left Jack behind. Rose is like never experienced anything like this before, along with the audience. It's done a nice little explanation of, for a lot of the audience, this will be the first regeneration they've ever seen.
I know. And you know what? When I saw it as well, like coming up to it, I mean, you see his hand go, and I was like, you know what's coming. Yeah, but he does that great speech. I feel emotional. It's like the end of it's an end of an era. Even if it's a short era, it's still the end of an era. It's the end of this actor's time as a Doctor. You're going to get a new one. And as I'm seeing it happen, and it is emotional, the music's fantastic. The Doctor Who music, BBC Now sound amazing. You get a new face, and I just thought, I friggin' love it. A regeneration. I do love a regeneration. It's a lot of weird feelings, isn't it?
Yeah, because you're sad about the leaving, but it's always been an epic moment.
It's such an epic moment. The music, you get these big speeches, and these are people that you know. Like, you've got to know these characters.
You're also really excited to see what happens next and what the new person's going to bring as well. So it's that mixed feeling, isn't it? Yeah.
It's such like a weird mix, and then
and there he is.
Sorry. And then there he is, and it was weird because I saw it, and look, I love David Tennant. Like, I have seen Christmas specials. I've never denied that. I love David Tennant when I've seen David Tennant. I love David Tennant anyway, but I love David Tennant as the Doctor when I've seen Christmas specials. So I've never denied that. So I am excited for this next period to watch it properly. But I will say, I just felt like, oh no, this is where we do the Oscars. I don't think I can watch the next one Like, I was like, that is it. Like, I just felt it. I was like, we don't watch the next one and then do it. That's a disrespect. This is where it ended. Like, I felt like very clear about that.
Well, I suppose it is really. It's on iPlayer. That's all. It just is part of series one on iPlayer.
If you'd have asked me the week before, I said like, oh, well, we should do what iPlayer says. Like, I said that, and then I watched it and I was like, no, absolutely not. I felt very like strong in myself about that. Like, no, we should not. I felt like he's just died.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's weird. You can't really do. Well, that's why the weirdest thing is, when it was the Fifth Doctor into the Sixth Doctor, and his last one was the last of the series.
Yeah,
it's a weird way to do it, and that's really the only time they've done it. I mean, that makes it even more of a weird thing, isn't it? It's end of the Doctor should be end of the series. Yeah, epic two-parter done, and will be another Oscars, the first of the new series. So we've got all those categories are open. Let us know what you think, everybody. We'll do our whittling down to some nominees very soon. I mean, it's going to be we're going to have to remember quite a lot,
Well, you will. Let's be honest, it's whatever I remember, but you've got a lot to remember.
And then it will be the Christmas special. The Christmas Invasion will be next. Join us soon for the Oscars. Maybe we'll have a week off before the Oscars. We'll see how schedules go. See how the schedules go. But yeah, let us know what you think of this two-parter. I'll still do the Spotify comments, or everybody's comments in the Oscars. We'll do that. We'll have a roundup of what everyone thought of the series. But I think everyone loves this one, actually. I mean, there's not really. I don't think there's anything.
Surely people must just be so happy it's back on TV.
No, yeah, but just as going down in like history of Doctor Who episodes and what fans think of it and stuff. I think it's up there. I think we didn't really talk about the Daleks much, but it's great to see a lot of them. The set looks good. Emperor Dalek, his Emperor Dalek, and just Daleks are just Daleks. Really, it's never about the actual Daleks. It's all the stuff that's going on.
I like that there's like the idea of how they've mutated from the human, but they're discussing themselves. It's just really clever. It's just a great story.
Yeah, there we go. Let us know what you think on our social medias at 2WatchWho. You can see us at patreon.com/2WatchWho, and we will see you very soon for our Series 1 Oscars. See you then. Bye.
Bye.
To Watch Who.